Facebook, live on YouTube. Looks good, folks. Good morning. Great Tuesday morning. Coffee in hand, ready to roll. Give everybody a couple of minutes to dial in. Dial in. That's a term we haven't heard in a while, huh? Dialing in. Nobody dials in anymore. It's just there. How cool is that? Oh, who was alive when you used to have to dial in? Can I see your hands? Yeah, I feel you. I was there. I remember when I would crank up the modem and go to hit dial and let it dial and connect, and I would literally walk away and go get a cup of coffee or something, and then come back while your internet loaded. It was so old. So nobody dials in anymore. So, but great morning, folks. Great Tuesday morning. Thought we'd lighten it up a little bit this morning. So got a new shirt, new Hawaiian shirt. You can probably tell I don't have a wife because lots of times your wife would probably stop you from buying a shirt like this. But hey, I went out yesterday, got some new shorts, some new shirts, had a good day. Is that a girly thing? Going out, get emotional, go out and shop? I don't know. I needed some shirts and I needed some shorts. So went yesterday and got them. Anyhow, thought we would talk about crypto this morning. Good morning, Chuck. Good to see you, buddy. And I'll see you tonight at Bible study. It's all good. And I'm going to, I don't think this harms you guys, but I'm going to pull up a little website here and see if we can do a little crypto info. I may at some point try to figure out how to go about sharing these screens with you, but we've been in a crazy bear market here for the last several weeks, month or more. Crypto's been crashing, but we're on the way back up. Everything's up today. Green. The first little red, little tether's a little red, but nothing major there. But a lot of green. So we're on the way up in crypto. I had an interesting. I think I may have already talked to you about this, but I had an interesting thing that happened when I went up to visit with family. I gave both my nephews a choice. Yeah, we did talk about this. Gave both my nephews a choice to get cash for their graduation / birthday or crypto, and they both chose crypto. One of them, his dad had set it up for him because he was not 18 yet. So I couldn't send his for a few days. And between the time I gave his brother the crypto and him the crypto, it had gone down another bit. This is Bitcoin anyway. It had gone down another $1,000, $1,200. But on the way back up now, it's all looking good. And, I'm a huge fan of cryptocurrency and blockchain. The technology in general, I think, is unstoppable. Still a big question about the currencies and all, whether or not they're going to end up being the new money. That would certainly be nice. I didn't invest enough in it to be a multi-millionaire yet, but hey, it's a very young and early stage industry, so you never know. But at any rate, it's been an interesting ride. I think we've seen some movement on the regulatory side, which is proving. It's hard for me as a constitutional conservative with libertarian leanings to even say that regulation is a good thing, because in most cases, many cases, virtually all cases, it's not. But in this particular instance, a little bit of regulatory, not restrictions or anything, but just kind of some guidelines, I think, are going to be good. So we're seeing some movement on the regulatory front there with the crypto. So that's a good thing. A lot of the projects, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing with the coding class that I'm taking, and with the digital marketing class that I'm taking, the graphic design stuff that I'm doing, it's all geared towards the blockchain and geared towards that technology, being able to program on the blockchain. with the Ethereum, on the Ethereum blockchain, on the EOS blockchain, on the NEM blockchain. So it's very interesting, and it's neat. And I tell you what, if you've got I was talking. I had a nice meeting the other day with Sonny and Tim Matthews, Sonny Hogue and Tim Matthews from over Celebration, and we had a great meeting, and they had an interesting thing which I never even really thought of. Tim asked me, "Are you learning it to teach it? Are you learning how to code in order to teach it?" And I didn't. I've never really thought about just learning how to code to be able to code and look at and decipher what code is being built on the projects that I'm passionate about and want to build out. But what a great concept that would be to have some coding classes for young people, particularly at-risk young people, youth in the inner city and in some of these neighborhoods. And what a great idea! What a great way to lift them, give them a skill, and lift them out of a situation of that generational poverty kind of situation. And we're not talking about a skill that now you can go from earning $10 an hour to earning $20 an hour. If you can successfully and code on the blockchain and build out some of these decentralized applications and start doing that, I mean, you're very quickly into the six-figure salary range, and that's be life-changing it'll be life-changing for a lot of people, but in particular for some of our youth in the inner city and whatnot. So that's been kind of on my heart here the last few weeks. Is we are in the process over at Jank Road Baptist of building a new church, building a new, not a new church, but we're rebuilding a old church into a new church. And that's kind of been one of the things that's been on my mind is kind of ways we can take our community and our parishioners and our followers and our people, whatever we want to call them, take that to another level. And that might be an interesting concept, is to be able to learn how to code well enough to be able to teach coding to kids. So, hey, who knows on that front. So that's some interesting news. There's all kinds of interesting projects going on, and more and more we're seeing now for a long time, for the last probably since late 17 into early and first quarter of 18. The ICO market was just exploding. ICO is an initial coin offering, like an IPO in a stock situation. An ICO is initial coin offering, and it's proven to be a great way for a lot of people to raise a lot of money real quick and then disappear. So it's been an interesting market. I got into the ICO market in early. Late 17, early 18, and lost just about everything that I put into it, with a few very minor exceptions. It was hugely risky, but I had gained so much in the previous year that I said, you know what, I'm going to put a little bit of this. I've already pulled all my principal out, so that's not an issue. But I put a little bit of these gains towards some more risky behavior. And risky behavior can pay off big, but you can also lose everything. Like is what pretty much happened in that ICO market. So the ICO market has calmed down quite a bit in the last 4 or 5 months, with all the additional regulatory stuff coming out, and with all the scam. I mean, the vast majority of these ICOs were just straight up scams. Just would raise millions, tens of millions in some cases. The EOS, not that that's a scam, but the EOS ICO went on for a year, and they raised $1 billion in an ICO. But the vast majority of these ICOs turned out to be scams, and they would just collect 10 or 15 or 20 million bucks, or 10, however many $1 million they decided they were going to raise, whatever they hit the mark that was okay to go ahead and just bug out and do an exit scam on us. Then they did, and we had many projects that had a lot of potential that just exit scammed, and just 5-10 million bucks, $3 or $4 million. Maybe that's not enough to pack it up and move to an island somewhere. But when you get into the 10, 15, $20 million that some of these guys were these ICOs were raising, then yeah, that's exit scam money. That's one of the red flags we learned the hard way. I consider it an education, really, with the money that I put into that. But that's one of the red flags when you look at an ICO, which is, how much money are they trying to raise, and is that realistic? Do they need $20 million to build out their project, or can they build it out? Do you think they could build it out with a quarter of that, maybe $5 million? So if they're trying to raise too much money in an ICO, that's a red flag. Another reason I want to learn how to code and understand this stuff is so that when I'm evaluating these investment opportunities, I can look at them and see if these projects are real. So many of the projects don't even have a viable product yet, and they've been on the market for in some cases a year, 18 months, 2 years, and they don't even have a viable product yet. Now, admittedly, a lot of these projects are long-term focused and are not didn't promise any kind of a product right out of the gate, but a lot of them had a ton of potential and just like I said, just seemed to have a ton of potential anyway, and just scammed out. What happened in a lot of cases with some of these ICOs is they had the unbelievable misfortune of launching their ICO when Bitcoin was 12, 14, 16, 18, $20,000 a coin. They did all their fundraising, they met their goals, and then the bottom fell out of it, and it dropped back down to $5,000-$6,000 a coin. And that'll take a bite. that'll take a little bite out of your project there. So that was part of it, but a big chunk of it was just way too easy to scam people. Everybody. It was kind of like it looked a little bit like the housing bubble on a smaller scale, much smaller scale. But everybody was just, this real estate thing is never going to end, and eventually it did end, and a lot of people got burned. But this was crypto, because it runs 24/7. So there's no closed market. There's no downtime. It's literally 24/7. So things happen very, very fast in this environment. They move quickly. The swings are wild. It's just because it's so new. We're still in the infancy of cryptocurrencies, and we are not anywhere near, even at this point, mass adoption. So the technology moves so quickly. A week in crypto is like a year in the market, in the regular markets. So, it's just the ICO market just boomed, and most of it was, like I said, a scam, and then it dropped off dramatically. Then some of the regulators stepped in and started looking at some of these things, and a lot of the companies. Facebook, Google ads, those kind of things. They dropped the ability to advertise the ICOs there with them, any kind of cryptocurrency advertising on those platforms. And now what we're starting to see is a lot of these projects, the ones that are real anyway, are now starting to take hold, and it's getting a little easier to look at these things, to analyze them. I'm not giving you financial advice. I don't know well, I won't say anything there, but I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take anything I say. You're watching YouTube, for God's sakes, so don't take financial advice from YouTube or Facebook. But it's these things are now, we're starting to see these projects that are viable, the ones that are really have a vision, really have a solid team, really have a goal that they're working towards, or a viable product that's already out there on the market. A lot of companies now we're seeing good, reputable, solid companies who are adopting blockchain technology and using the ICO as a vehicle to raise capital. because it's a very effective vehicle. For a long time, it was a very effective vehicle, and now it's still got a lot of potential on it. So there's a lot of opportunity here. I strongly believe that we are, as I said, just in the infancy of this cryptocurrency market. And if you haven't been in it for a while or at all, it's an interesting time. Maybe it makes sense to start following it if you're all. I'm a techno nerd anyway. I like all the latest technology and all the newest stuff, so it's an interesting there's an interesting horizon out there for this stuff, and it's moving very, very rapidly, and it's easy to get sucked in and end up getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning checking your crypto account and whatnot. So try not to do that. But it is very interesting to get a piece of it. And most of the people now, even the real naysayers in the beginning, are saying that you should have some amount of crypto in your portfolio. We're not talking about the kids' college fund, or don't put your rent or your mortgage payment in the crypto market and expect it to double over the next couple of weeks and then pull out and pay your mortgage kind of thing. But if you've got some play money, some extra money on the side, a few $100 here, a few $100 there, or a few $1,000, whatever your level of play money is, put a little bit of in crypto and see what happens. I have a link in my description and my contact stuff for Coinbase. If you set up a Coinbase account and buy Coinbase, I think it'd give me $10. It's not anything major, but there are dozens and dozens of exchanges out there. Coinbase probably the most widely known and the easiest to get in and get out of. So that kind of stuff is exciting. It's there. It's a really a Wild West kind of new frontier right now. So obviously be careful and don't invest any more than you can afford to lose in it. But it is exciting technology, and it's really the wave of the future, I think. Just personal opinion again, not financial advice, but the technology is not going away. This currency or that currency, this coin, that coin, will eventually fall by the wayside. But these other the core coins, the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, the big name coins are going to be around, and the technology is not going anywhere. The technology, blockchain technology, is not going anywhere because it is revolutionizing industries, insurance industries, banking industry. It's crushing the banking industry, but banking industries, shipping, transportation, all kinds of logistic industries and everything, just tearing them up, making a really just completely transforming industry. The way the internet changed business in the 90s is the way cryptocurrency is changing finance in this decade. So we're going to see that level of disruption, and that means opportunity. That is simply plain and simple. That means opportunity. I mean, would you have invested in the backbone of the internet when it first came out? If you had bought Amazon and Google and Netflix and all these things when they first hit, then you'd be doing quite well now. But this is the phase that we're in now in crypto. It's really in its infancy. It's like I said earlier, nowhere near mass adoption, and we have not gotten to a point where it is anything close to hitting its stride. So, if you wish you had gotten in on Amazon, I remember seeing Apple stock when it was literally, I think, under $1. It was falling apart. It was looking terrible, and it was looking like it was just gonna float by the wayside. Now one of the highest value companies in the world. So, wish I'd have known then what I know now, but I didn't. So, but at any rate, it would be wise to at least educate yourself on the crypto markets and see if that's something that makes sense for you. Like I said, everybody ought to have ought to have a little bit of it. That's what the best advisors in the world are saying. The most intelligent people in the world are saying that everybody ought to have a little bit, and even if it's only a few $100, go in there, set it up, and grab a couple dollars worth. Now would be a great time to do it because we are even though the markets are turning back up right now, we are still at a low point, and it's not a bad idea, not a bad way to do it. And you can go in, you can open up a Coinbase account. You can put a few dollars in there, and you put $100 in there, and you say, okay, that's my baseline. And if it goes to 120, you can pull $20 out. If it goes to 150, you can pull $50 out, and you just leave your baseline $100 in there and ride it up or down for that matter. But it's an interesting concept, and it's an interesting time, and we are in the very early stages of it. So don't hesitate to check out my links below, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already over on YouTube, and hit the notification bell so you will be notified whenever I go live. On Facebook, be sure to give me the hearts and share the video if you thought it was of value. Thanks a bunch for showing up, and a special shout out to everybody who reached out yesterday. No doubt it was a tough day, but you know what? We stand up and we move on because all things are possible through Christ Jesus. Amen, brother. So with that being said, as always, remember, doesn't matter whether you think you can or you think you can't. You are right. Have a great day, guys. We'll talk to you soon.